All right, it's that time. Championship week. Had to bring back the one and only Dave Shreve. Finally got over his tough loss a couple weeks ago, showing his face back on the MFL screen. So welcome back.
Thanks, Joe. Happy to be back. Yeah, I needed a hiatus from fantasy football in general.
More than
I hated it. I didn't watch any games last weekend. Um, but I'm back. I'm ready. It's championship time. Big championship too. Huge week.
yeah, yeah, and we got two core keystone teams in the mix.
Absolutely.
Um, what makes for a great matchup, a 1 and 2 seed. Uh, I not to belittle last week, but there really wasn't much drama at
Not
all.
much drama at all. No, no.
I
Well in hand games
yeah, yeah.
very
Even
early.
I think we needed like 40 points from Austin Eckler for some drama.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think we were almost trying to drum up some drama for those
yeah,
games because it just wasn't there. I think we all knew those games were in it. And Dan coming out strong after Garrett Wilson, I think, putting up one on
yeah,
Thursday. It's got a feeling.
yeah. I think that's a theme that we'll get into a little bit about that team. But yeah, two really strong teams. The 1 and 2 seeds, like I mentioned. Um, both obviously deserving of this championship matchup, and I think we're going to get a good one. Um, so we can just start getting into it. So we got Deuces Wild, as mentioned, 2 seeds, 10-4 on an 8 game winning streak. This team is just rolling right now. Um, you know, I, what I see when I look at this team, you see Mahomes and then a bunch of other guys. Like
Yeah,
there's might not be the star power as there is on some other teams, but you have Mahomes and you have a bunch of really good players. It works out. And then these teams they played in week 4. Deuces Wild got the win in that one.
yes, he
Um,
did.
yeah, Deuces Wild looking pretty good.
Like you said, dude, 8 in a row. The last time Dan lost, Halloween night. That's how long it's been, dude.
Spooky.
Yeah, yeah. Been a while. Been a while.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and even then, I think his one loss, John put up like 126 on him or something. So he
Yeah.
had to put up a lot on him. I'm just saying, Deuce is wild. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a winning streak like this to potentially end the season, but very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. And I was crunching some numbers, in that 8 game winning streak, a lot of points being scored. Only one game, Deuces Wild in the last since week 6, only one time have scored below 90 points. So Deuces Wild on a little bit of a heater. Um, we do have our correspondent who, just so the audience knows, we have no idea what Josh did or is doing. So we're just gonna let him in and just see how this goes because when you give Josh free reign, you never really know what you're gonna come back with.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully this works. I know last time we had some difficulties here and there. I think I hear Josh. I don't see Josh. Welcome.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
There he is.
I'm stuck in
Josh,
this terrible weather right now. It's raining here in Philadelphia. I apologize.
We're talking Deuces Wild at the moment. Mentioned they're coming in hot, 8 game winning streak. Things are happening. What are you seeing on the Deuces Wild side? Any insights over there, Josh?
Deuce is wild today. He got back to the Porto Jew, and he said to me, the Porto Jew, that he's
Hold on. What is the Porto Jew? That's just your name?
Mr. Porto Jew at your service. I'm working on my CMC gig in the future. So he feels okay, not great. He's a little subtle about things. He believes that the Utes fear of sharks and the fear of the ocean could move him to victory this week because he didn't say this, but he didn't want to say this. He's a big pussy cat,
Yeah.
but
I
that's
will.
how
I
I
will.
feel.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to point this out before. I feel like Kevin and Uts Rebellion have been under a lot of heat in the group chat these last couple weeks. I don't really know what's changed or what's happened, but I don't know. We'll see if it helps or hurts his case this week.
I mean, old Kevin wouldn't have been under so much heat.
I like to say I did ask if Deuces Wild has any plan for a loco.
Mm,
And to our unfortunate answer, he has no loco plan because he
yeah.
wants to go for the localist league win. And he also has a bit of a tummy ache right now.
Mm,
Deuces in a bit of a tummy ache could be the upset.
interesting.
Never know.
Hopefully that doesn't spread to the rest of his team. Uh, I was gonna mention, I was gonna ask this question about locos. I think I'd hammer the under in locos for this championship
Yeah,
matchup.
for sure.
Even though that Monday night, damn, it's a lot of rain over there. Uh,
Oh, oh, thunder and shit! I got so sorry.
anyway,
I'll say this. When we do against the spread, like there's a lot of shit we do that's like intentionally like just confusing and makes you kind of scratch your head. We do that intentionally almost. This might be the most confusing segment in MFL history.
this is
So
like
thank you.
this is like when there's like an incredible story in sports, and they're like, if you brought this script to Hollywood, they would rip it up. They wouldn't believe it.
Wouldn't believe it. Did
So
he?
yeah,
And he's gone.
he's gone for now. We'll bring him back in shortly. But Deuces Wild, like we said, on a good run. Uh, Boots Rebellion. Let's talk about the one seed. Obviously, one seed, most points. Really had a four-headed monster all season. Hurts, Chubb, Cook, and Diggs accounted for more than 70% of his points this year. And we mentioned Deuces Wild rarely going below 90. Boot hasn't gone below 90 since week 7, which actually kind of surprised me because some of his star players haven't really been performing.
Yeah,
So I was kind of surprised that it's been that long since he's really put up a dud.
yeah. Never relinquished first place, right? The whole season. I think he kept it. That's
Yeah,
really impressive.
yeah.
1451. It's impressive amount of points. I don't think anyone sniffed to the most points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Joe. I was looking up and down Kevin's roster, and like you even look at like Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
hasn't scored since week 12. Uh, I was going to say Diggs also looks kind of I'd be worried about. Last 3 weeks, 10 receptions, 123 yards, no touchdowns.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot. It seems a lot has gone wrong, but again, the team just keeps putting out points somehow.
yeah, and I just thought of this. Diggs has been all 3 weeks. He's been dealing with some fucking crazy. The Bills have been dealing with some crazy weather.
They have.
Um,
That is true.
so I think you got to keep that in mind a little bit. But yeah, I think you're a little uneasy if you're Kevin. Obviously, you don't have your cash cow Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Minshew held his own, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel good about that every week.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, I wonder, what are your thoughts on the Uch Rebellion owner? Have you spoke to Kevin? How's he feeling about his lineup for this week? Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Where are you?
Mr. Porto's you're reporting live from Miami. It's a bit windy here now. We just flew in real fast. As you can see, I'm trying to pull my best Seattle Seahawks wide receiver look off. Yeah, let's get it.
Okay.
Yeah, chilly. But I did speak to the Utes owner, and he says the Majin Buu Fields is where he's at. He's bringing Boo back.
Okay.
Bringing Boo back. He thinks Chubb, Cook, and Diggs are going to go off. I think he's crazy, but Diggs for 2 touchdowns is his lock of the week.
Ooh.
He thinks he's positive about Jalen Hurts. Positive, but uncertain. If you go back, I was just in the rain. It's pretty ugly in Philadelphia. You don't know what you're going to get over there. And Hoot says if he wins, he's going to enjoy a nice steak dinner. He's going to enjoy a nice little league payment because, he's owed one.
Right.
Still thinking of that. And besides that, he's going to enjoy a little one-on-one time with his girl, aka the MFL trophy. Not his wife. Not his wife.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
So thank you for your time. I'm gonna go put a shirt on. It's a little nipply out here in Miami. Little breezy. If you hear the wind chime. Shh.
yeah.
I will talk to you guys later. Buenos suerte.
All right.
Buenos suerte.
Josh, that was great.
Thank you, Josh. Go inside. Like we said,
Wow.
you never really know what you're gonna get when Josh
What a segment.
has
What
something.
a segment. I still don't understand his name.
I don't understand his name. He was just outside shirtless. I guess it's Miami, so whatever. But
Unreal. Just never disappoints. He just
no,
never disappoints.
no.
Oh.
All
I
right.
will say, I just want to mention one thing about something Josh said. And Joe, you'll know this. Majin Buu, he was on a true hot streak. Kevin was at one point where he did not lose anything. Won the Cube tournament, won fantasy baseball, didn't lose
It's
in
incredible.
fantasy football. Who took him down? Deuces Wild. Deuces Wild was the first
Wow.
L on Majin Buu's record. Does
Interesting.
it comes full circle, maybe?
We'll see. I know he beat me up a couple times during that whole stretch, so I guess we'll see. All right, well there's the premise of everything. Well, let's dive into these teams a little bit more. Um, let's see here. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully everyone can see it. All right, so there's our matchup here. At the quarterback spot, obviously, you know, it should be a pretty distinct advantage on the Deuces Wild side. You know, Mahomes 25 plus points and 6 of 8 since the bye. Not really much more needs to be said. One stat I did want to bring up, I don't know if you saw, but he's never lost to an AFC West team. Just kind of a funny stat. Not really fantasy related, but just
Crazy.
just a funny stat. On the other side, Minshew obviously had a good week last week. I don't know how much we want to dive into the quarterback spot, but obviously clear edge to Deuces Wild.
Yeah, I guess one thing I just I'm the leader of the Deuces Wild bandwagon, so I think people know where I'm leaning. But I kind of do want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here and there. Mahomes going up against Denver. Denver good against the pass. Last time they played, I think Mahomes put up 25.78 points, but he did throw 3 picks. So,
Yeah.
I guess almost more impressive that you still put up 25 plus points after you throw 3 picks.
He almost tried to lose that game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And then Russ died.
Yeah, I think what would worry me with that is more so like that game could easily be like 28-0 at half or something, and then they just kind of put it in reverse. But I don't know. I'm definitely worried about Minshew as well if Kevin does stick with him. Oh, I feel like usually you get that one really good start from like a backup or something, and then once teams actually see what's going on, they can easily adjust to it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. As of now,
Kevin needs
Minshew's
to, sorry, Kevin. I was just gonna say Kevin needs to keep that QB matchup. I think within like 10 to 12 points there. I think any more than that, he's facing
like
uphill battle.
they have this projected with Mahomes 24 and Mahomes 20. I think Kevin signs that and runs to the bank with it.
Oh, 100%. I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, I think you definitely take that if you're Kevin. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Running backs. I think running backs is kind of where this is going to be won or lost. For Deuces Wild, we have Connor and Walker, 2 good options. Connor 6 touchdowns in 7 games since his injury. Doesn't seem to be impacted at all with the Kyler injury. Kenny Walker been a bit hit and miss lately. 3 of 4 of his last 4 since the bye. 3 games under 50 rushing yards. He's had 2 of those games with double digits, but been a little bit more hit and miss since he was earlier on. On the other side, you mentioned it. Nick Chubb 4 straight games without a touchdown, not good. And then Dalvin 4 of his last 6 below 8 points. So again, like his horses, so to speak, really haven't been there on a consistent basis. But Kevin's going to need him this week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dan, I think with Connor and Kenny Walker at this point, it's almost a It's almost a keeper conversation there. Connor has been red hot lately. Really came on late this season. Kind of got off to a shitty start through week 9. Since then, though, he's hit at double digits every time. And he's pretty steadily putting up over 15 points, which, you can't ask for more than that if you're Dan.
Yeah.
And then Kenny Walker, like you said, hasn't been as great lately. Hasn't gotten in the end zone in 4 weeks or so. Was a little hobbled for a little bit. Kevin needs his money makers to come through here, man. They need to. I think both guys need to get into the end zone here. Like Chubb, that's a little worrisome. But
Yeah.
against Washington, the matchup's not bad.
I think, I'm definitely worried about Chubb. I think Dalvin, I think I trust Dalvin a lot more than Chubb right now.
For sure.
But yeah, I think those running back, he's definitely gonna need to win the running back position for sure. And then we can move to receiver, where every time I talk about Uts Rebellion and receivers, my blood just starts to boil. But on the Deuces Wild side, Higgins, Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, three solid options. Higgins, 4 touchdowns and 4 straight if you don't include that like weird fake start game that he had. And then, Wilson and McLaurin, to me, the story is the quarterbacks. One in the positive, where Garrett Wilson's had 3 pretty good games with Mike White. He's had 21, 16, and 7.8 with Mike White as a starter. And then McLaurin with Carson Wentz, 4 of his 6 games were in single digits. So kind of a flip-flop on the receiver side. For Utes Rebellion, Diggs, you mentioned it, 6 straight games below 100 yards. I know some of that's with weather, but that's a long time for someone like Stephon Diggs to not show up. Keenan Allen, 31 catches his last 3 weeks. And then Michael Pittman, 3 double-digit games and 2 touchdowns all year. So Keenan Allen, good real-life receiver, catches a lot of passes, doesn't really give you much in terms of a non-PPR league, but this is going to be an interesting position. I think if someone can like pop off in the receiver position, it would be huge because I don't really know what to make of these groups.
Yeah, tough, real tough. I think Keenan Allen. I think he gives you that steady guy. I think you always like we play 3 receivers, so I think you want one guy who is like that, who's kind of going to give you a steady 8 to 12 points every week. I think Kevin will get that from Keenan Allen. I think he needs to get that from Pittman. I don't think he will get that from Pittman. Me and you were talking even before we started recording how much we hate Michael Pittman. But I think Kevin's prediction is going to need to be right. I think Diggs is going to need to go off here. I sneaky love Dan's receivers. I love Higgins and McLaurin. Yeah. I think they're guys that are steady for you, but they're putting up much higher points. They both got to be top 12 guys at least. Okay, McLaurin's 15.
Yeah.
And then Garrett Wilson, you love Mike White back in there. That helps a ton. But you wonder if you wonder if Tariq Woolen, that's his name, the rookie corner.
Yeah.
You wonder if he's going to be on Wilson. I don't necessarily think they're going to just keep a corner on a rookie. I don't know. They might.
Who knows?
But yeah, I actually love Dan's receivers here.
Yeah.
I think Kevin's gonna need a big game from Diggs, and
it's almost
he's gonna have to see first half Diggs this week.
It's like the receivers on Dan's team are a lot more like boom or bust, and the receivers on Kevin's team are like kind of steady, but he needs like one boom.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got to do something. And I don't know if there's any like stat or proof to back this up, but some of them, like Stephon Diggs on Monday night, I feel like he's bound. I don't know. He seems like a guy who just shows up in prime time. Like he's always great in the playoffs, things like that. I feel like he's going to make a play. At least I would think. But this receiver group is very wishy-washy. Like you said, like we said, Garrett Wilson had, I think, a point last week. Like I see like 3 guys out here that can have a point this week, but they can also, they're all one play away, at least on Dan's side. They can all, turn something or nothing into something. Could be fun to watch those groups. And then we move on to tight ends, where Kittle has been the story of fantasy playoffs right now. With he was in kind of hibernation for a while and just exploded back to back 20-point weeks. And then on the other side, Hawkinson had a 20-point week. Like tight ends don't score points, and then all of a sudden,
No.
both of these guys put up 20 last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Both of them obviously have that potential. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to make of these tight end groups because I feel like it's either going to be 3 or 4, or I guess it could be 15, 16.
I was going back and forth on this one all day, Joe. I almost see this one as a wash. I think it's hard to expect. Although Kittle's done it 2 weeks in a row, I think it's hard
Yeah.
to expect a week like that from either of them again.
Yeah.
Kind of again. I think this could be a position where the game's won or lost. If
It could
if
be.
you get one of those big games from one of them and you get a tight end game from the other, that could be the difference in the game. But
Yeah.
I think slight edge Kittle for me, but I think it's close. I would call it. I'd say almost a wash.
I saw Debo is questionable. I think that would honestly change things a bit because
Oh
obviously
yeah, for sure.
Kittle's much more involved. I did notice too, like Kittle playing the Raiders. Raiders haven't given up a tight end touchdown since their bye week, so it's been 10 games. And then Packers, 6 of their last 9, they've held the tight end group below 32 yards. So neither has a great matchup either, it seems.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're very similar tight ends, probably the 2 best blocking tight ends in the league. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe one makes a play, and that could be the difference. And then defense. I saw Dan. Yeah, Dan has the Giants in against the Colts, which that's been his strategy in the playoffs, just kind of playing a defense against the worst offense. I mean, based on how the Chargers looked, it's not bad. I feel like the Giants defense definitely isn't one that scores much, but you would like to think that they can sack Foles a couple times based on what we just watched. And then pretty big news, honestly. Kevin's got Pats D in against Miami without Tua. I mean, that could be the Pats D. I don't know how for like 20 years the Pats D is great in fantasy.
They're always on top. It just doesn't make sense.
It's great.
Not that good.
Let me see. I think they've scored in 3 games in a row, which they've scored 3. They've scored a touchdown in 3 games in a row, which is very hit and miss. I can't imagine they scored 4 in a row,
but I mean they've done it 3 in a row. There's you never know. And like you said, no Tua, Teddy Two Gloves. So that makes it interesting. That was a nice break for Kevin. That was a nice break.
Yeah.
He needed after Jalen Hurts, he needed one. But good break.
I mean, look, it's not this league, but some people get a break by the Titans, not caring about this game. Other guys get, Tua gets a concussion.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, so I told you I made up my own projections here. I said, let me just go and clean mine. Went through each player, each game. I've got Deuces Wild at 108.6 and Oots Rebellion at 103.5. The big difference in my personal projections is Pittman sucks. And for whatever reason, I decided that Kittle was going to score and Hawkinson wasn't. And that's how we got there. I think everything else is pretty standard or kind of what you expect. I think Diggs has a good game, but I think what you said might come true where just one tight end might score a touchdown and one doesn't, and that could be enough.
Yeah. For sure. One thing I do want to say about the defense, I hate to go back here, Joe, but if I reduce as wild, I'd go back to Jags defense. That's me first.
But we can do it all we want.
We support Deuces Wild.
Yeah.
It's a good matchup, but
Let me see.
Yeah, this is tough, Joe. I feel like a lot of the field is on Dan this week. I'm going to be as well. I think I'm going to go with Deuces Wild 112, Oots Rebellion 94.
Look,
I just think Kevin needs too many things to go right to pull off the win this week. I think Dan's got the percentages more in his favor here. But any given Sunday, dude, you never know. You never know. But yeah, it's and like you said that Michael Pittman, just seeing him on the in the
It's
lineup just makes you want to
his,
puke.
his name just sticks out where like every name you see makes sense. Then you get to Pittman, you're like, huh? Um, it the thing like I see like with Dan's team, it's like everything's rolling, and then on Kevin's, it seems like nothing's really happening. Where is it almost like maybe it's been 3 or 4 weeks and now it does it flip? Like like how long can Chubb go without a touchdown? How long can Diggs go
Exactly.
without 100 yards? Like is this the week where they just bounce back?
Could be. But again, I feel like he needs multiple of those things to
It
happen.
does.
You
He,
know?
he needs he needs Chubb to wake up. He needs Cook to score for sure. He needs Diggs to wake up. I mean, yeah, someone's just his team needs to make more plays for sure. Um, he's just got. I think there's just a few questions. Like, is it Gardner? Is it Minshew? Is it Pittman? And Dan doesn't really. I mean, Dan can have. He has a couple roster decisions, but it's not like he has like a bad answer. Um,
No. Yeah.
whether he swaps someone in or not, it's kind of like with Jags and Giants D. It's like you get both sides. I think you got to just make a call and live with it, and it is
Yeah.
what it is. Like
Exactly.
For Kevin, it's like, does he start Pittman? Does he start Slayton? Does he pick someone up? It's like there's no good option in there.
No, exactly. Yeah. And honestly, Kevin's team, you know, as much as I say he needs a lot of things to go right, the guys he needs to do well for him, they're fucking studs. They're
Yeah,
very good players.
right.
So, he's got that going.
Yeah,
He's
that is
got that
that
going.
is the thing. Like if Chubb, Cook, and Diggs all scored like 20 points, no one would really
Yeah,
blink.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, great matchup though. What a great championship matchup. You can't ask for more than this.
Yeah, I know we were talking. What were you saying? This is only the second time that they're playing in the playoffs ever?
Second time in the history of the NFL. And the first time they played, Joe, was the first round of the 2008 playoffs. So they were technically the very first playoff matchup in NFL history.
How about that?
And now they're the first championship in 12 man MFL. So,
And who
things
won
come
that?
closer. Dan won 106 to 75 in 08.
Hmm.
A
Okay.
route.
And then how often did you say something about 1 versus 2?
Yes, Joe. I'm glad you asked. This is the sixth time the top two seeds have met in the championship game. The top seed is 4-1.
Hmm.
So that's good for Kevin. The one loss, real deal lost to the West Canaan Coyotes in the championship in 2018. Rob's one championship.
That's kind of like what is this is the since 2000, that's almost half the actually no, what is that? 2018 is 14 seasons and 6 times it's happened. So almost half that it's one
Yeah,
versus two. That's
yeah,
pretty high
yeah.
number.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have one and two seeds used to get first
True.
round buys, so I guess that was more likely to happen in the past. But hey, I mean, first
True.
year where only the one seed gets the buy, and we got a 1-2. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know that I have much else to add on this thing. I think I went through all my notes here. I would say take the over in this matchup. I don't think we're going to see either team really put out a dud at this point. Um, it seems we both have deuces wild. Again, I would also take the under on Locos. Um, and yeah, and you got any famous last words?
a round of applause to both of these teams. I think both well deserved. I
Yeah,
think everyone would feel that whoever wins this is pretty well deserving of it, which is awesome.
yeah,
Um, and last but not least, great work on the show this year, Joe. I know the league members have all appreciated the constant content and good content at that. And so we salute you, my friend. Excellent work on Bagels and Birdies.
yeah. Thank you. We'll try to expand a bit more next year and do some more. So appreciate that. It's been a good year. It's been a crazy year. 12 teams. I think it took everyone a minute to kind of get warmed up to it, but I feel like this has been an absolutely chaotic fantasy season between all the trades and tanking and playoffs, and it's been a doozy.
It's been a wild season. It really it probably this has probably been the craziest season we've had. And I'll be honest, for me, it's been the most fun. I think this year has been the best so far, and I think that's the best part about this league is that it just gets better every year.
There we go. All right, everyone. Toast your bagels, roast your drives. Good luck in the championship, and we'll see you next time.